In the ever-evolving landscape of public discourse surrounding high-profile scandals and the treatment of victims in media, few moments capture the raw tension between celebrity influence and ethical responsibility quite like Christina Ricci's recent Instagram story outburst against conservative commentator Megyn Kelly. The actress, best known for her captivating performances in films like The Addams Family, Sleepy Hollow, and the gripping series Yellowjackets, did not hold back as she labeled Kelly a danger to children, in response to the former Fox News anchor's podcast remarks that appeared to minimize the severity of Jeffrey Epstein's predatory actions. This exchange, unfolding in the digital spotlight, underscores deeper issues of accountability, the nuances of language in discussing sexual exploitation, and the ongoing struggle to honor survivors' stories without dilution. To fully grasp the intensity of Ricci's reaction, one must first revisit the context of Kelly's comments. During a recent episode of her podcast, Kelly delved into the House Oversight Committee's release of thousands of emails linked to Epstein, the disgraced financier whose web of influence ensnared powerful figures and devastated countless young lives. Epstein, who died by suicide in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges, has become a symbol of unchecked elite privilege and systemic failures in protecting the vulnerable. His crimes involved the systematic grooming and abuse of underage girls, some as young as 14, as detailed in the 2019 indictment that painted a harrowing picture of exploitation masked as opportunity. Kelly, drawing from what she described as insights from someone very close to this case, attempted to draw a line between Epstein's preferences and the clinical definition of pedophilia. "There's definitely a difference between a 5-year-old and a 15-year-old, she stated, emphasizing that while the acts were disgusting, Epstein's focus on very young teen types, who could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby, did not equate to an attraction to prepubescent children. She qualified her remarks by insisting she was not excusing the behavior but merely relaying facts she had been reliably told over the years. It was only recently, Kelly added, with Attorney General Pam Bondi's mention of tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn, that she reconsidered her stance, though she expressed skepticism about Bondi's credibility on the matter. These words, captured in screenshots shared by the Instagram account Betches_News, ignited a firestorm. The account juxtaposed Kelly's quotes with stark reminders of the victims' ages, highlighting the perceived insensitivity of parsing degrees of horror in child exploitation. Enter Christina Ricci, whose repost was a thunderclap in the storm. "This woman is a danger to children," she scrawled across the slides, her message a direct indictment not just of the commentary but of the potential real-world harm it could perpetuate. Ricci's platform, with its millions of followers attuned to her advocacy for mental health and survivor rights, amplified the critique exponentially, turning a podcast segment into a broader referendum on media ethics. Ricci's personal history adds profound layers to her response. Earlier this year, on Jimmy Kimmel Live, the actress opened up about a disturbing incident from her own childhood that eerily parallels the themes of Epstein's case. At just 11 years old, Ricci and her friends engaged in the innocent mischief of prank calling the 1-800 mattress hotline in 1991. What began as giggles escalated when one friend, in a moment of naive boldness, shared their home address with the man on the line named Jared. Days later, a Polaroid of his erect penis arrived in the mail, printed from a local CVS. The girls, too young to process the violation fully, simply ceased the calls. No police reports, no parental intervention. Ricci's recounting of this event, delivered with a mix of wry humor and underlying gravity, served as a microcosm of how early encounters with predatory behavior often evade justice, leaving invisible scars. This revelation contextualizes Ricci's visceral reaction to Kelly. As a child star who navigated Hollywood's treacherous waters from a tender age, Ricci has long been vocal about the industry's underbelly, the objectification, the power imbalances, and the casual dismissals that enable abuse. Her role in Yellowjackets, where she portrays a survivor grappling with trauma, further cements her as a figure who refuses to let such narratives be sanitized. By calling out Kelly, Ricci isn't just reacting to one comment, she's channeling a lifetime of vigilance against the subtle erosions of empathy that allow predators to thrive. The backlash against Kelly extended far beyond Ricci's Instagram. On X, formerly Twitter, users from all corners of the political spectrum decried her words as victim-blaming light, a dangerous relativism that could embolden apologists for abuse. One viral thread dissected Kelly's history, her tenure at Fox News, where she built a reputation as a tough interviewer unafraid to challenge the powerful, only to pivot to independent podcasting amid controversies like her defense of figures in the #MeToo era. Critics pointed to past instances such as her 2018 interview with Stormy Daniels, where she balanced skepticism with empathy, versus more recent episodes that veer into contrarian territory. Supporters, however, framed Kelly as a truth-teller unafraid of woke overreach, arguing that precise language in discussing crimes prevents hysteria. This divide mirrors larger societal fractures. Epstein's case, with its roster of implicated elites, from Bill Clinton to Prince Andrew, has fueled endless speculation and conspiracy. The 2019 indictment revealed a network where girls were recruited with promises of modeling gigs, paid for sexual acts, and coerced into bringing friends. Federal prosecutors emphasized Epstein's awareness of their ages, a detail that renders Kelly's age-based distinctions not just tone-deaf but potentially misleading. Victim advocates, including those from RAINN Rape, Abuse and Incest National Network, stress that any sexual activity with minors is statutory rape, regardless of perceived maturity. Kelly's qualifiers, they argue, echo age-old defenses that shift blame to victims' appearances, perpetuating a culture where justice is deferred.